What's up guys, it's Troy with the Weber Kettle Club. Today I'm going to reattach a leg socket on a vintage yellow kettle. All you need is a drill, the original leg socket, and some stainless steel hardware, which I'll show you some up close of in the...
Here's what I'm using for hardware, or at least here's what I wrote down and paid for hardware that I'm using. It's these little stainless nuts with bolts and fender washers. Basically what I did is I took in the leg socket to Ace Hardware, and I found the hardware that was going to look, this is really hard to do one-handed, looked like it was going to go through and fit the head of the socket, as well as going through the thickness of the bowl. And the fender washers are there to go on the inside of the bowl and grab some meat as we tighten it up around the old hole where the socket is broken off. If your kettle is really new or just within a few years old, don't even bother with this technique. Just go ahead and call Weber and get a replacement bowl. You really only need to do this yourself if it's a vintage color like a lime or a yellow or a red. I'm also going to be using some steel wool and some emery cloth just to get some of the rust surface off of the socket and the bowl before I reattach it. So after getting the leg out of the socket, which was actually pretty difficult, if you're having a difficult time getting the leg out of the socket, go ahead and soak this in like crud cutter or WD-40 for a day or so and loosen it up. So looking at the bottom of where this is welded on, I want to make this nice and smooth and rust-free to get a nice clean attachment to the bowl. So to get the bottom of this sanded nice and smooth, I'm just going to use this coarse emery paper on a flat surface and just sand this down. You can also use a file or a Dremel or a grinding wheel or whatever you have that's handy. Or if you want to, you just don't bother and just drill this out without sanding it down. I'm going to sand it down though. Now that most of the rust is sanded off the socket, I'm going to go ahead and drill. I didn't get all of it off, but I wanted to get the majority of it just to make sure that this reattachment gets the longest life possible. We're using stainless steel hardware to reattach. We're not using any glue or welds, so the rust is only going to affect this metal as far as I know. Alright, so I wrapped the little sockets in blue painter's tape. The painter's tape is going to help prevent the drill bit from sliding around and slipping, and it's going to help keep some of that porcelain onto the socket. I do want to keep the socket as nice looking as possible, and I'm going to start with a small drill bit and work my way up to the bigger one, and the bigger one is the one that fits this thing, so it fits this stainless steel hardware. I'm not going to show you how to drill because I'm not handy and you don't want to learn from me. Once your smaller hole is drilled, you can go back with the bigger drill bit and drill the bigger hole. I like to do one side first, and then I'll do the other three. Alright, I got a bunch of rust off of there. It's still a little bit discolored, but it's fine. I got most of the surface rust off. I got pretty excited when the yellow came into this nice shine just with some steel wool buffing. This is going to look really good. Alright, so when I reattach the leg socket, I'm gonna figure out which hole's gonna go where, just to make sure we got holes lining up. Alright, so that's good right there. I want the heads of the bolts to be inside the grill. I'm sorry. I want the round heads to be inside the grill, just so it's got a nice smooth finish on the inside of the grill on top of the fender washer. So I'm gonna thread these through the inside with the fender washer, and I'm just going to attach one of them first just so I can get the socket started. Alright, so minor change of plans. I drilled some of the holes a little too close to the actual socket portion, and the head of the nut that I wanted to use didn't fit on some of them, so I have to use the screw head instead of the nut head, or I'll have to re-drill, and I really don't want to do that. So to assemble it, what I'm doing is I'm putting the screws through and just taping it down with some painter's tape. This is my unhandy way of doing things, so all you Bob Vilas about to leave comments about how easy this is, you can pound it. Alright, so I got the screw head sticking through. With the screw head sticking through, I'm going to stick my fender washers on there, just like that. Now those are gonna grab through when I tighten those nuts down, and it's gonna hold that leg socket securely onto the bowl. Just put these nuts on one at a time. Alright, now I can come back through and tighten these with a wrench and a screwdriver. Once everything is realigned, you can put a wrench on there and tighten the screws from the other side. Mine is all tight now. And nice and secure. Alright, now it's time to put the legs back on and see if it stands. Alright, there it is. Legs are back in. Everything is ready to go again. This yellow will ride again. Let's stand it up, see what it looks like. Woot woot! There it is. So I learned a couple things in this project. One, take your time. Two, use sharp drill bits. Buy brand new ones if you have to. Drilling the first couple holes took me way too freaking long, and I'm getting really fucking pissed. Pardon my French. Drilling the holes took much longer than I wanted it to, so next time I do this, I'm gonna go buy brand new drill bits just to make sure I ever got it right. I also wanted the round screw heads inside the bowl, but I didn't drill the holes properly to make that align right. Next time, I would measure twice and drill once, or something like that. Reattaching the leg socket was pretty easy, but it's 90 degrees out here and I am all sweaty. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more cooking videos as well as restoration videos. Like the Weber Kettle Club on Facebook, or hit up the website for all kinds of Weber Kettle mods and Weber Kettle restoration tips. Thanks for watching.